mindfulness for anxiety. Fine, but what does that even mean? What if we put 3 anxiety specialists in the room and asked them to talk practically about how they use the principles of mindfulness when treating anxious clients? Well, this week on The Anxious Truth, that's exactly what we did. So let's get to it. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to The Anxious Truth. This is the podcast that covers all things anxiety, anxiety disorders, and anxiety recovery. I'm Drew Linsalata, creator and host of the podcast and the YouTube channel. I am a therapist specializing in anxiety and anxiety disorders, practicing in the state of New York. I am also a former sufferer of panic disorder, agoraphobia, OCD, and depression for many years of my life, on and off, but much better now. A 3-time author on the topic, social media, educator, advocate, and guy with a really expensive microphone that gets together every 2 weeks with friends of mine and talks about these things. So this week on The Anxious Truth, we're talking about what it looks like when anxiety specialists, therapists who practice in the area of anxiety and anxiety disorders and OCD use the principles of mindfulness when working with anxious clients. I'm joined by my friends Lauren Rosen. Lauren practices in LA. She specializes in treating OCD, anxiety, and anxiety disorders. And Joanna Hardis. Joanna practices in Cleveland. She also specializes in treating OCD, anxiety, and anxiety disorders. And we're going to talk about how the 3 of us bring the principles of mindfulness into our practices with actual anxious clients who have the same problems that you probably do if you're watching this particular YouTube video or this podcast episode. Oh, future me here. Just a quick note before we get started with Lauren and Joanna. I want you to notice when we start doing the role play, how different it is from one therapist to another. I trust both of these people implicitly. They know what they're doing. They have a tremendous track record. These are trustworthy, ethical clinicians who are expert in their field. But notice how Lauren and Joanna take 2 different approaches to applying the principles of mindfulness with their client. That would be me, by the way. Terrible actor, but I did the best I could. So notice that. That's in the second half of today's video. And then afterwards, we'll talk about it a little bit more. All right. Before we get into that, 2 things. This is a 2-part episode. We got into it pretty deeply, so we didn't want to record for an entire hour. We kind of abruptly cut it off. So if you come back in 2 weeks for episode 319 of The Anxious Truth, you'll see part 2 of this. And before we actually get into the part where we bring Lauren and Joanna on with me, just a quick reminder that The Anxious Truth is more than just this episode, just this video, just this podcast episode. There's a ton more stuff on my website at theanxioustruth.com. There are books and low-cost courses and workshops and all kinds of free stuff and all the social media content. So check it out. Avail yourself of all the resources. Again, that's at theanxioustruth.com. I hope you find whatever is over there helpful, because a lot of people say that it really is. So check it out. All right. I'm going to bring Lauren and Joanna on with me now. And then when we are done with part 1, I'll come back and wrap it up. I'll give you all of their links and everything. And then, come back in 2 weeks for episode 319 for part 2 of this. That's enough me rambling. Let's get to it. Okay. As promised, with me on screen, you know both of them, but I don't think the 3 of us have ever done this together.
We haven't.
No,
it's so
this
true.
is great.
Yeah, we
Love
have
it.
next to me is Joanna Hardis, and down below us is Lauren Rosen out in Cali, our West Coast compatriot.
Hey.
Now, I have had the privilege of interacting with a lot of great clinicians, and you guys, I always say this, you guys were great. You all accepted me as part of the club long before I was in it, and I appreciate it. I'm never going to be able to pay you guys back, but of all of you guys, you 2 are the ones that I know have the strongest like mindfulness components. At least you talk about it. Maybe other people have strong mindfulness components in their practices, but you guys actively talk about it. So like, I couldn't think of 2 better people to talk about this with.
And we're so fun.
Yeah.
And we're fun.
Can't really argue
That's
with
like
that.
the best compliment coming from you, Drew.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
It's surprising to me that people don't talk about it more, I guess, as you're saying that, because it's so instrumental in treatment from my vantage point, and I know from both of yours as well.
Yeah, I think there's a reason why the current wave is mindfulness and acceptance based. There's a reason why it's in there.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And looking at the treatment modalities like acceptance and commitment therapy, which we're all big fans of, and the mindfulness component, it's so interesting how effective it is across diagnoses, right?
Yeah.
We look at act, and it is an evidence-based treatment for so many different issues. And I think that it sort of speaks to like, okay, there's something really important here that
Mhm.
transcends what somebody is struggling with specifically.
Yeah.
What's interesting to me, and I'm curious to get your guys' take, but Drew put me on my path, if this is out of what you wanted to talk about, is for the people that I've treated, most say it's a game changer for those for those for whom they establish it as a habit. I know in my life, it has really helped me tremendously, but yet it's the hardest thing for me to sell to a client.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so then like, which is why in part we're all here to talk about this, because I have struggled over, probably 2 decades of my career, how to talk to clients about, mindful awareness in a way that their eyes don't roll back in their head. And I immediately don't turn them off.
Yes.
Um, because I really do believe, and I'm curious how you guys do it, because I think it is such a game changer and such a great adjunct to whatever we're doing.
Yeah. I preface a lot of my mindfulness pitch, if you will, with clients with like, I don't mean to sound so therapist-y, or like, I don't want to go into that cliche thing, but we need to talk about that. And it softens the blow a little bit. And I think part of it is because of maybe people's preconceived notions about what that word is. Like, oh, is
Yeah.
that that thing where I have to wear white outfit and sit on a cushion, like, and get my lighting correct, and I'll achieve a state of inner peace. And like, no, 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 no.
You only achieve inner peace if you get your lighting correct, though, for sure.
That
And
is
have a room in your house devoted to meditation.
100% right. If you
Yes.
don't own a ring light, you can't be mindful. I'm
You,
sorry.
you can't. You for sure can't have perpetual peace. That's definitely not the case.
Yeah, I think that I like Joanna when you say it's hardest to sell. Like to me, the sell always starts with first, let's talk about what it's not so that you don't get really disappointed. Because I find, and I don't know what you guys think, a lot of people come into it and they are thinking, oh, I heard that mindfulness is really good for anxiety. It's good for
Mhm.
my mental health. Okay, well, what does that mean? Oh, it means that that's how you get a quiet mind. That's how you find peace. That's how you calm down. Like, no, pull it,
Right.
needle off the record. We got to stop right there and revisit. Right. So,
Well, and that's why I think so many people try it and think I'm not doing it right because there's a really problematic misconception about what the goal is. And the goal isn't to quiet the mind. It's not to stop the mind from making noise. It's to have a different relationship with the noise in your mind, to have an awareness of it and to make friends with it. That's how you develop peace with your mind, is by making friends with your mind, not by like trying to manage and control it, surprisingly.
yeah.
Right. Which is not a quick
No,
fix.
no, it's not.
Which is not a quick fix in any way. And
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that that's why it's also a hard sell, is even like, yes, there's the part about the misconceptions of what mindfulness is and what we're after. But when somebody really understands that, like, oh no, we're trying to accept this, right? Like that's what mindfulness affords us, is this route toward acceptance of what is, so that we can live life on our terms. It's like, but wait a second, I don't want to accept this. Like this is the problem that has developed, has expressly happened because of the fact that I want to resist this.
Yeah.
So it is a hard sell because it's totally antithetical with what people have been trying to do unsuccessfully for a long time. So if like you're looking at therapies like, oh, this is a way that I'm going to finally get the thing. I'm going to get rid of my thoughts. I'm going to get rid of my feelings. I'm going to live in perpetual bliss. Then you hear mindfulness and acceptance and you're like, well, no, that's not what I want.
right.
Yeah.
But, and I guess maybe something to consider, all three of us, I think one of the important pieces is understanding that a pie in the sky idea, it's just not possible, right? Like perpetual peace is an illusion that we keep grasping after,
Mm.
right? You know how I get esoteric real fast,
Okay,
apparently.
bring
This
it.
is
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, right. You do.
but it's like, if we're grasping after that, if we are sold on it's still possible to have perpetual bliss, then we will keep chasing it, and we won't we won't dive into mindfulness. Not really. We won't be willing to notice things non-judgmentally and accept them. So I think that how do you guys
Hmm.
support people in getting to that place of, in the realm of ACT, we talk about creative hopelessness, right? But like really recognizing that this dream of constant okayness it's not on the table.
Yeah. It is a hard sell for people who want to feel better,
Yeah.
but I just want to feel better. But part of the reason why you don't feel so good is that you're trying so hard to feel good in a circumstance that you can't force that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. For anyone who's ever tried to force feeling good, we all know how yeah, useless it is.
Doesn't really work out.
And I have some ideas, but I would love to know kind of how you guys get there with people of like
Yeah.
getting people into this place of like, okay, this is necessary, right? Like moving forward with accepting something is necessary.
You know, sometimes and I don't know if I don't think this entirely answers your question directly, but sometimes I really go with the definition of radical acceptance
Mm.
and help people that we don't have to like what is going on. Acceptance, I go back to that definition that we don't have to like what's going on in reality. We don't have to you don't have to like it. You don't have to agree with it. But it's that notion that we have to accept that this is our reality right now. And sort of, I use that analogy of like the campfire versus the wildfire, that sometimes acceptance is just accepting that like the reality sucks. That's our campfire. And
Mm.
so sometimes my job, it's like, what are we doing that's making it worse and making a campfire
Yes.
into a wildfire?
Mm.
Yes.
And so instead of going at, how someone is struggling for like, always being better, like what might we be doing that is making a hard situation that much harder?
And
Totally.
prolonging it.
Yes,
So
correct.
that fire is burning, like, yeah, it's hot out and I don't want a campfire tonight and it's making me sweat and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay, fine.
Right.
But if you leave the campfire alone, it will burn itself out at some point. Another one might come up tomorrow, but like
Right.
it'll burn itself out. But
But
if
if you
you
keep fanning the
that's right.
flames,
I don't like this and it's there. There's a fire in front of you right now. I don't care how much you don't like it. It's there already. So too bad. And if I'm going to fight it, it burns 3 times as long as it
Right.
was ever gonna. Yeah.
yeah.
One of the things I think that's super interesting too is a lot of people kind of get, okay, we get it, but I know you guys hear this every day, but how? But how do you accept? And this is where I think that principles of mindfulness really enter into it because, well, the reason why you're not accepting is that you're still resisting. And that resistance is automatic, or you will say at first it's automatic. At first, you're going to tell me, I have no choice. It's out of my control. I must go get ice packs and call my safe person and run to the emergency room or whatever I have to do my compulsions. It's automatic. It's out of my control. But is it? And that's really it. Like if you can't learn to watch that autopilot working, then you have no shot at participating in the process and steering in the other direction when it demands that you go left and you just get dragged by it automatically and unconsciously now. How are you ever going to steer to the right if you can't even know that it's on? So
Absolutely.
all we're learning to do is watch that machine work. That's all
Mhm.
mindfulness is. That's what I try and teach anyway. It's not a state. There's no outcome. It's not a state of peace. It's not a state of quiet. It's not a state of well-being. It's a state of awareness, right?
And it's a practice of it's a continuous
It
practice
is.
because
Yeah.
because that resistance, we do automatically return to that unknowingly all of the time. And we have to continually go, oh, wait, I got back into resistance. Let me get back into acceptance.
Yeah.
I mean, I can say this from my own recovery journey as well as those that I work with is like, I think yesterday I was noticing how caught up I was in resisting anxiety. And then the difference is that I continually drop it now. Like I'm able to recognize it and soften toward it. But I absolutely, just piggybacking on what you just said, in terms of the how of acceptance and making it practical, that's I think what what we all are so passionate about, because it can get esoteric, but it's a stepwise process in many ways. And I love a quote that is often misattributed to Viktor Frankl, but it's actually Stephen Covey. I had to look this up for my book recently. I think we were talking about it, Drew, but the between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space lies our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom.
Yeah.
And that quote so beautifully summarizes, from my vantage point, what mindfulness affords the people who practice it, which is when we're looking for that space between stimulus and response. And we can be non-judgmentally aware of what's going on in our present moment experience, then we're not going to just react. We have that moment to respond. That non-judgment is the bedrock on which acceptance becomes possible. Because if I'm judging something, I'm almost immediately resisting it. If it's like, I don't like this, make it go away, is only a breath later.
Yeah.
So if I can notice non-judgmentally, like, I'm feeling anxious right now, and then I have the opportunity to access that space and go, like, how do I want to respond to this anxiety? Do I want to keep resisting it? Do I want to keep thinking about how I'm going to resolve it, even though I know rationally that I can't? Or do I want to just say, like, oh, anxiety is here.
Yeah.
And get on with my life on my terms?
It's effortless. People don't recognize this because we're so neck up.
Mm-hmm.
Clients we live neck up. But this is what and I think accepting is neck down. And that when we're really accepting, it is effortless because we're not doing anything. We're like dropping. That's what, we all use that language of softening,
releasing,
loosening grip. It's, it's all like a neck down, and it's all like, it's effort. We're not doing, it's effortless.
Yeah.
But that response only comes when you can practice watching the machinery.
Yeah.
So and even for me, I had the temerity to actually go back to school and become, that's how recovered I think I am. But like, I had the nerve to do that. And even I, like Lauren, you were saying too, there are times when I have to notice that, like, wait, why is my heart pounding while I'm like loading the dishwasher? Oh, I know why. Because there's something going on that I don't like, and I'm pushing against it, even though that's pointless.
Yeah.
And the softening happens, right? So then I recognize what's happening. So I think people get tripped up on non-judgmental. Judgment is kind of automatic. Like, you can't not judge it, but you can see the judging, and then like, oh, I see what I just did there. I pushed back instantly. Put my hands down.
Yes, totally. You can practice non-judgment, and you can practice non-judgment of judgment.
Of the judgment. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, oh, interesting. I'm pushing back. Okay. Well, do I want to keep doing that? Right. Like, you can introduce it at any moment in this progression, and it interrupts that reaction where you're just like pushing against it.
If you don't hit the stop button on this episode after hearing not judging the judging, then more power to you guys.
Yeah.
This stuff gets so like wonky, nerdy, and weird sometimes, but it's important. Like, it's really important.
But don't you find that people are relieved when they hear that? Because again, that's another area where it's like, oh, well, I can't refrain from judging. It's like, oh, no. You don't have to like refrain from any sort of automatic anything. It's what you're meeting that with.
You just have to see that you're doing it. That's all. Just see that it's happening. One of the coolest quotes that I think I ever heard, I believe it's an Alan Watts story. And I know Alan Watts turned out to be problematic later on, but he was really frustrated initially. So he's in San Francisco attending all the meetings. He's part of that whole movement. And he's frustrated because he's walking with his girlfriend, or whatever she was to him, and saying like, he'd had a terrible meeting. His mind was all over the place. He just couldn't focus. And the woman he was with said, oh, but why is that a problem? He said, well, I'm trying to get away from my thoughts. And she goes, not me. I love thinking. And that was perfectly okay. So like, when that story was so great, it was actually evidently very impactful for him too. Of course, nobody knows her name. So did he give her credit? No. But the point is like, oh, I like thinking. Yeah, my mind was really active too, but I'm all right with that. I was just watching it be active. That was such a big quote for me to see, because so many people in our context are like, yeah, but how do those thoughts will go away, right? Maybe, but maybe not. And can you learn to watch them instead of interacting with them? So
Yeah.
what am I supposed to, people ask me all the time, I don't know, Joanna, if you get this question, but what am I supposed to think? Well, whatever you want, whatever your brain comes up with, think whatever, it
But
doesn't
I
matter.
think that that's really hard. So I don't know about you guys. I mean, I think we when we practice that in session,
Mhm.
I think that that's a really hard skill for people. I mean, I know I use a labeling practice with clients, which I find really helpful, helping them label. We'll take 2-3 minutes in session to just label thinking,
Yeah.
thought, feeling, sensation, what their experience is. Because I think for us, you know, it's much easier for us to say, oh, well, we can be the observer and we can watch the machine. But I think for a client,
Mhm.
that's an incredibly hard skill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so just
I think
start.
anyone starting mindfulness, really.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
starting with 2 minutes of a labeling practice or something is really, really helpful.
And
I
that's
don't
the
I do
being able
that.
to do that is if I label it, then at least I see that I'm making the next jump to judging and telling a story or finding meaning in that. But
Yeah.
otherwise, we jump right into the meaning making, forget the part that we're thinking, and then we declare it out of our control, automatic and frustrating. But like, no, start by labeling first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the whole point of the exercise is just to get better at identifying the difference between, what everything is, what the
Yes.
behavior is,
Yeah.
when I'm noticing a sensation, when I'm noticing it's just to get better at observing and describing, which I think is so hard for people.
Then we get that automatic, like, I'll do it also with physical sensations. Like, tell me what's happening in your body right now. Well, it feels like, no, 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 don't tell me what it feels like. Tell me what you're actually experiencing. And
Yep.
it's so hard for every human being to bring it right back down to just the facts, right? Just be objective.
I think
Yeah.
that's if I can plug
Oh, hell yeah.
just
Oh.
the facts, mental fitness skill, I think number 2 in the book.
Shameless
Yes.
plug. I'm here for that. That's
I
fine.
love it.
Always plugging.
That's
Yes.
awesome.
Mm.
It's so funny too, like, because I actually have a whole chapter in my book dedicated to what thoughts, feelings, and urges and sensations are, because it's like, if you don't know the topography of your mind, how in the world are you supposed to navigate it effectively? And then you start
Yes.
saying things like, I feel like, and well, that's actually a thought, not a feeling, if you're saying it feels like. So understanding that for sure, especially because ultimately, when we're working with people, it's like I'm trying to get people to support people in accepting that they're having a thought, that they're having a feeling or a sensation, without taking the bait and engaging in active thinking.
Yeah.
And if
Some
you don't like, nobody teaches you that. Nobody sits down and is like, okay, here's what happens in your mind. I'm curious, like, I don't know. Would it be helpful for your listeners if we like actually talked through like one of like how this comes up in the room? Like, obviously, like, we
Sure.
work with a lot of different anxieties, but functionally they all work very, very similarly.
Yeah.
And like, why this mindfulness stuff is like, how it helps on a practical level.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll
Well,
I'll I'll be the anxious person. I'm the new guy in the room in the club. So
oh,
oh.
okay. Exciting. What are you anxious about, sir?
Everything. No, I woke up this morning and that thing, the minute I opened my eyes, like I noticed my heart is pounding and like I'm going to have just a terrible day and I barely slept. And this is just like on the hamster wheel all the time. Every
Mm,
morning is like this. I don't get it. And it's lasting all day long. I don't know what to do.
mm.
Yeah.
So what is it that's lasting when you say it's lasting all day? Like, you're telling me that you're waking up in the morning, you're immediately feeling you're having this experience. I'd love to better understand, like, what is that experience that you're having first thing in the morning?
Um, well, I mean, it feels like I'm vibrating like a tuning fork internally, like physically. I have all those, I just don't like it. Like it feels like there's somebody grasping at the base of my throat. I'm having a hard time breathing
Mm,
and I can feel my heartbeat. It's so heavy all day long and it just feels like I'm vibrating. And then my,
okay.
my mind
Yeah.
just, it feels like I need to be near a hospital. I'm always worried about this and like what's
Mm.
going to happen next.
Yeah, it sounds like you're really scared about what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And that all of these sort of physical sensations are like you described a lot of different things that are happening internally, like a jitteriness, a lot of movement that you feel like heaviness in your chest, and then you're having the thought like, oh gosh, I gotta be near a hospital because something really bad could happen.
Yeah.
um I guess I'm curious too that like once all that starts, where do you go from there? Like what so this is lasting all day. When you have that thought, like, "I really need to be close to a hospital because I'm terrified something bad's gonna happen."
Mhm.
What do you do with that? Do you get do you drive to a hospital? Like,
I'm not proud to say, but I have at times.
sure.
I've sat in the parking lot, or
You
I spent
certainly
all
wouldn't be the first, by the way.
well, thank you. That
Yeah,
makes me feel a little better, but, like, I
yeah.
spend all day long checking my pulse and scanning my body to see how if it's getting worse and how
Mm,
I'm doing. I'm looking for the problem and checking to see if I'm gonna have to be alone, and is anybody gonna leave the house, who's gonna save me. It's all
yeah,
day long. It's, like, super exhausting.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's tricky too because you're talking about, like, checking your pulse, right? And it's probably seems very automatic to you, but that's actually it's a behavior, right? Like you're kind of going into the recesses of your mind to analyze what your physical sensations mean. And understandably, right? Because you're scared.
Yeah.
Um, but I imagine that you have a fair amount of experience now that would rationally indicate that you can have all of these experiences without something bad happening. Is that right?
Yeah, it's been, like, 2,000 heart attacks.
Right.
Right, I get it. Logically, I understand. Like, the
Totally.
smart part of me gets it, but it doesn't matter in the moment, it seems.
No.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. It's because it's still really, really scary, right? Like, that grabs you, and I
Yeah.
think understanding that you're having these thoughts, right? You're having these strong emotional sensations, which are really just a bunch of physical sensations in your body, and if we can notice all of that non-judgmentally, right? Which, granted, is hard, right? But it is a skill that you can develop, and if you can do that, right, then you get to make a choice as to whether or not you continually check to see whether or not your pulse has varied at all, and then trying to determine what that means, right? Which is keeping you in your head all day,
Yeah.
and which is actually it's making your anxiety more intense. It's continually re-triggering that anxiety over and over again. Unfortunately, like when you're engaging in that thinking, you are going to feel anxious for a prolonged period of time. It's going to intensify the anxiety versus sort of noticing when those thoughts and feelings come up, allowing for them to be there,
Mhm.
and then going about your day. But I'm curious what Joanna might have to say to
Yeah, I
you
got the 2
here.
for 1. I got 2 therapists in the room. Like,
Yeah.
I'm feeling it right now. I'm anxious right now. What do I
I
fine,
was
Yeah.
it all makes
wondering,
sense, but what do I do?
Yeah.
well, I'm wondering, what you're currently experiencing in this moment. Can you describe for me? So imagine, I don't, I want you to just describe for me what you're experiencing in your body or in your head.
It's I'm sitting on my chair, but it feels like I'm moving, so it's a sensation of, like, vibrating is the best word I have for it. I guess it feels like I'm shaking, but I know I'm not. But that's
Okay.
what I feel right now.
So, and can you tell me vibrating? Do you feel it in your chest? Is it in your torso? It's like I want you to get really granular with me about where you're experiencing this.
Yeah.
And can you I'm sorry to interrupt
Okay.
you. Can you preface it with I'm noticing that I'm feeling vibrating in my torso, in my throat.
Okay. Like, I would actually say, "I noticed that." Is that what you want me to do?
Yeah, I want you to preface things with, I'm aware that
Yeah. I noticed that I feel a vibration sensation, like, along my spine and into my
Mm.
rib cage. Like that, you
so
mean?
you're aware that you're sensing a vibration in your spine
Yeah.
and your
Mm.
ribs.
Yep. Yep. That would make sense. Yes, that's what I feel right now. That's what I'm feeling.
Okay. Other sensations you may be aware of.
Yeah. There's a tightness at the base of my throat that makes me want to take deep breaths. And
Okay. So you're aware of a tightness in your throat.
mhm,
I
yeah,
okay. So can you can you repeat it?
I'm aware. I'm aware that the base of my throat feels very tight right now.
I'm aware of a tightness in
I'm
the base
aware.
of my throat.
Oh, okay. I'm aware of a tightness in the base of my throat.
Okay, that you're sensing that. Uh-huh.
Mhm. And I could feel my heart beating, like pounding. Not fast, it's just a heavy beat.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I
Oh,
am aware that I am feeling
yeah. I am aware that I feel my heartbeat beating very heavily right now.
okay. Okay.
Hmm, okay.
What about any thoughts that you may be aware of in your head right now?
I'm thinking that this can't be safe.
Mm.
This doesn't feel safe to me at all.
Okay. So I am aware of the thought that this cannot be safe right now.
Literally, like I am aware of a thought that says this is not safe
Right now.
right now. Yeah.
Mm.
Right. So do
Mhm.
you notice what we did in that what we did in those examples?
Yeah, like what I felt like was happening is you weren't letting me jump to the conclusion. I don't know if that makes any sense, but like what I wanted to tell you is what it felt like is going to happen, and like you put up a little wall there. So
Mhm.
no, we're not going to go to the conclusion. Just say what's happening. What I can feel right now.
Uh-huh. And that wall what did the wall what experience did the wall do? Was there any experience that the wall gave you?
Well, I mean, admittedly, like not being allowed, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but like having that little firewall put up and like, no, no, don't jump to the disaster makes me a little bit more aware of the process of drawing the conclusion.
Okay.
Right. And it makes, I guess I would have to say it makes me feel like it's not as dangerous
Mm.
Okay.
because like look, I could see what I was doing. I don't
Okay.
know. Does that
So
make sense?
so what I hear is it's kind of a speed bump.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really good. It's like it slows you down. Yeah.
Sure. Between the initial what your initial belief and the catastrophe or the your initial response and the catastrophe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good, yeah. That I like speed bump. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if we want to continue.
And
What
see.
well, can I add because I want like it was so beautifully done, and I just wanted to add too that like so let's imagine now that you are you've just been having all of these experiences that you described, and you might ordinarily, and maybe you didn't even in the moment, want to check in about your heart rate and what it was doing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it, part of the reason that you're doing that is because of that fear, right? That like that those physical sensations are really compelling. It's
Yeah.
like danger, right? Like you're hearing danger, danger, danger in your mind.
Mhm.
But like if we take one of those experiences, right? Like the tightness at the base of your throat that you noticed, another step that we can incorporate is imagining that there's a space there that you can breathe into. Like you're
Mhm.
going to expand a balloon there. Because our immediate response to that is to grip, right? Like, what is that? I don't want that there.
Mhm.
But it's the resistance of that that's going to make you go check your pulse. So, which is going to keep you stuck.
Yeah.
So, are you still feeling that right there?
Well, I feel every day, all day long. It feels,
Yeah.
yeah, it's still there.
Yeah. And can you see where that might pull you into like trying to figure out like, what your pulse is
Yeah.
doing and all of that? So
Yeah.
maybe
Because just the conversation separates me from it a little bit. Like just talking
yeah.
about it, like lets me, yeah, it's still there, but I don't feel like this urgent pull to check on it so much just because we're talking about it.
Right, right. So that awareness is helping you for it to like de-escalate slightly just
Mhm.
enough that maybe you can accept that it's there so that you're not going to so ultimately maybe you don't need to do like a formal exercise, but when it's still really intense, which sometimes it is, even if you're noticing what's happening,
Yeah.
you can maybe you can try it with me, right?
Mhm.
Imagine that there's this balloon right in that area, that the base of the throat. And instead of being like, oh, I just want to relax, 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 right? You can kind of hear in my voice, it's a little bit aggressive
Yeah.
and not really prone to supporting
It's the opposite of
relaxation.
relaxation. Thank
Yeah.
you.
And I think that the trick is like, can we relax into this experience? And that's what breathing into it, like you're going to make space for it, does.
Yeah.
Right. So I want you to just take a deep breath in for me and imagine that you're going to make space.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you and push
Yeah.
back on that.
Yeah.
I spend all day long trying to take the deepest breaths I can. So that's not really helping me.
That's such a fair point, and I'm so appreciative of you giving me that insight into your experience. And I imagine, if I may, I imagine that when you're doing that, you're trying you're trying to make something in your experience change. Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. It feels like I can't get a deep enough breath. So I'm trying all day long to fill my lungs up to my chin. And
Right.
it's
Right. Yeah. You're having this thought like, oh my gosh, I'm not getting enough breath. I got to get more breath.
yeah.
And
Well,
it's, oh, go ahead.
what the conversation actually helps me do is not do that, not take a deep breath. I don't feel as compelled to have to take a hugely deep breath.
Totally.
So
Well, and that's so fair. And you know what? Like, we can just leave it at that. Or, what I was saying is if at some point it escalates, we can look at it then.
yeah.
But I want to point out it doesn't, the intention is slightly different. What I'm saying is not to breathe in like you're going to get the deepest breath, or you're going to make sure that you're breathing, or like that you have enough oxygen, but instead that you're going to breathe in with the intent of just allowing for there to not, quote, not be enough breath. Right.
Yeah, it's weird, but I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a weird concept,
Yeah.
but in any case, we can go on with this, but
Oh, it makes sense.
I realize that, yeah,
This was
it's,
great. There's like anxiety theater here. Like,
yeah.
oh, by the way, where were the two of you in 2005 when I really, really needed you? Just saying. When we end the recording, and I will come back and put a bookend on this so you guys know how to find Joanna and Lauren. Can we hang out and schedule maybe next week we'll record a part 2 because I think we should continue this.
Oh,
Totally.
Yeah.
sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I'm at a recording time, so we're going to end this one now. But I promise, hopefully, the next episode of the podcast, you'll see the three of us again, and we'll continue the conversation. All right. So sit tight. I'll wrap it up. You guys stay with me, and we'll figure out what we're going to record next. So. Okay, and we are back. That was so much fun. It was a little bit awkward to sort of cut it off abruptly because Lauren and Joanna didn't know we were going to do 2 parts of this. We thought we were just going to bang out a quick 30 minutes on mindfulness, but as you can see, there's a whole lot to talk about. So we weren't really able to do that. Come back again for episode 319 of The Anxious Truth, and I promise you'll see part 2 of this discussion. So I hope you found it kind of helpful, even if it was sort of abruptly cut off. As you can see, there's a whole lot that goes into understanding and applying the way mindfulness is applied when we treat anxiety disorders. Yes, if you want to accept, if you want to float, if you want to willfully tolerate, if you want to do all of those things, mindfulness is a big part of that. So I hope you took something out of this. If you want to know a little bit more about Lauren and Joanna, you can follow the links in the podcast description, or if you're watching, of course, on YouTube, you can check out their links in the video description. I'll also put them on screen. Lauren is at theobsessivemind.com and Joanna is at joannahardis.com. Again, you should follow along with both of those people because I trust them. They're good people and they know what they're talking about. So that's it. I will end the episode by again reminding you to come back for 319 for the second one. If you want to know even a little bit more about practically applying mindfulness in your own journey, I can't believe I said the word journey, but I did. And you don't have a therapist to work with, if you go to learn.theanxioustruth.com or just go to my website at theanxioustruth.com, it's linked there. I have a practical mindfulness workshop that I run every 6 weeks for a small group of people. And I have a free downloadable practical mindfulness exercise that you could check out too. So if you want to dig into that a little bit more, feel free to do that. If you're watching on YouTube, maybe subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment, do all the things because it really helps me out. And if you're listening to this as a podcast episode, either on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, leave a 5-star rating if you really dig the podcast. And if you want to take an extra 2 minutes and write a review that tells people why you dig the podcast, well, that helps it get found even more, and then more people get help. And that's why I started doing this to begin with. So yeah, that's it. We'll be back in 2 weeks to do part 2 of this particular discussion on mindfulness and anxiety recovery. If you take something that you learned today in our discussion and you try to apply it in some small but meaningful way in your own progress, even if it seems insignificant, if it creates a little bit of a change, there's a little bit more acceptance, there's a little bit less resistance, there's a little bit more willingness to work through the scary and difficult experiences, then you are winning. Even those small little direct changes in direction count, they add up, they will get you where you want to be in the end. So don't get discouraged. Even the small wins count. Keep going. I will see you back here in 2 weeks. Check out Disordered, that I do with Josh Fletcher. That comes out every Friday. That's at disordered.fm. Take care of yourself. Thanks for hanging out with us. I'll see you in 2 weeks. We're out.